In the 4th century, when the Roman Empire was still stabilizing after decades of persecution and theological conflict, the Christian life unfolded across distant provinces. From North Africa to the capital of Constantinople, faith traveled through individuals willing to abandon familiarity in pursuit of deeper devotion. Among them was Domnica, a young woman from Carthage who embraced Christianity in her youth. Her decision would lead her far from her homeland, across the Mediterranean, and into the heart of the imperial city during the reign of Emperor Theodosius the Great. Her story is one of renunciation, instruction, and steadfast ascetic discipline. Though little is preserved about her early years, the events that followed reveal a life shaped by deliberate choice and unwavering dedication to the gospel. Domnica embraced the Christian faith while still young in Carthage, a city marked by both classical learning and emerging Christian influence. Her conversion was not casual affiliation, but a decisive commitment that reshaped the course of her life. Desiring deeper formation, she departed from her homeland and embarked by ship toward Alexandria. The journey itself symbolized rupture with former attachments, carrying her across the Mediterranean toward a city long known for theological vigor and ascetic currents. There she came to dwell among 4 pagan maidens. Rather than withdrawing into isolation, Domnica lived among them with consistency and visible virtue. Her conduct served as instruction even before words were spoken. Through patient teaching and example, she introduced them to the gospel. Her life became a quiet argument for Christian truth. The transformation that followed did not occur through pressure, but through steady witness sustained over time. The 4 maidens abandoned their former beliefs and embraced the Christian faith. What began as individual conviction expanded into shared resolve. Together, they sought a place where their devotion could mature within a structured spiritual community. Their attention turned toward Constantinople, the imperial capital, where monastic foundations were increasing in number and influence. The decision to travel there required courage, as it meant entering a city shaped by politics, controversy, and shifting alliances. Leaving Alexandria, the 5 women journeyed northward by sea. Their arrival in Constantinople coincided with the reign of Emperor Theodosius I, a period marked by consolidation of Nicene orthodoxy within the empire. Their coming was not unnoticed. According to the tradition preserved in her life, Patriarch Nectarios had been informed by an angel of their arrival and awaited them with members of his clergy at the harbor. The meeting marked a decisive transition. What began in Carthage as private conviction would now unfold under ecclesial oversight in the capital of the Christian Empire, where Domnica's vocation would take clearer shape. Upon their arrival in Constantinople, Patriarch Nectarios received Domnica and her companions with pastoral care. Having been forewarned of their coming, he ensured that their transition into the life of the Church would unfold under guidance rather than uncertainty. The 4 maidens were baptized, receiving the names Dorothea, Evanth, Nona, and Timothea. Their renaming signified entry into a new identity shaped by faith and ecclesial belonging rather than former custom. After their baptism, the patriarch settled the 5 women in a monastery. There they entered into disciplined communal life, structured by prayer, fasting, and obedience. Domnica embraced the ascetic path without hesitation. Her conduct within the monastery was marked by strict observance and unwavering focus. Over time, her life of renunciation became widely recognized. The consistency of her ascetic discipline distinguished her among the sisters. As her reputation spread throughout the city, reports of miracles attributed to her intercession began to circulate. The faithful sought her prayers, and visitors increased steadily, altering the quiet rhythm of monastic enclosure. Even members of the imperial household, including Emperor Theodosius and the Empress, came to see her. Their visits reflected the growing influence of monastic figures within the spiritual imagination of the capital. The influx of visitors gradually disturbed the silence necessary for sustained prayer. What had been a place of interior recollection became increasingly public. The tension between solitude and recognition intensified. According to the account preserved in her life, God revealed to Domnica that she should depart to a more remote location, once regarded as desolate and avoided. The move required ecclesiastical approval and careful discernment. Patriarch Nectarios hesitated at first, seeking confirmation that her request arose from divine prompting rather than personal inclination. Once assured, he presented the matter to the emperor, who undertook to fund construction of a new monastery and chapel. With imperial support, construction of the new monastery proceeded, together with a chapel dedicated to the prophet Zechariah. What had once been considered a deserted and avoided location gradually became a place of ordered prayer and communal discipline. When the building was completed, Patriarch Nectarios intended to consecrate it on January 26, 388. Domnica, however, insisted that the dedication occur 2 days earlier. Her firmness surprised some, yet the Patriarch consented. The consecration was therefore held on January 24th. During the ceremony, Domnica was ordained a deaconess and appointed abbess of the newly established monastery. Her leadership now carried formal ecclesial recognition. 2 days later, unrest erupted in the city as Arian factions stirred disturbance. Violence followed, and blood was shed. The earlier date of consecration was remembered in light of these events, lending weight to Domnica's insistence. Her life came to be associated with prophetic discernment. She also foretold the death of Emperor Theodosius in 395 and the difficulties that would follow his passing. Such predictions strengthened her reputation among the faithful. Yet her authority did not rest on prophecy alone. The monastery under her guidance maintained rigorous ascetic practice, fostering prayer and stability in a city often unsettled by theological and political tension. Pilgrims continued to seek her counsel. While imperial favor had assisted in the monastery's foundation, its endurance depended upon discipline and interior vigilance rather than patronage. The chapel dedicated to the prophet Zechariah stood as visible testimony to the transformation of a once feared site into a place of worship. The shift reflected Domnica's conviction that abandoned spaces could be reclaimed through prayer. Her years as abbess consolidated her role within Constantinople's spiritual landscape. From North Africa to the imperial capital, her path had unfolded through obedience, renunciation, and steady endurance. As the years advanced, Domnica remained at the head of the monastery she had established, guiding the sisters with vigilance and measured authority. Age did not diminish her discipline. Her presence offered stability within a capital still marked by theological rivalry and civic unrest. She continued in prayer, fasting, and instruction, shaping the interior life of the community. Visitors sought her counsel, yet she guarded the rhythm of the monastery carefully, ensuring that external attention would not weaken ascetic commitment or communal harmony. Tradition records that she foretold not only the death of Emperor Theodosius in 395, but also disturbances that would follow. These predictions increased reverence for her discernment, yet she did not seek recognition beyond what obedience required. In time, illness signaled the approach of her repose. The sisters gathered around her, receiving final counsel and blessing. Her departure was remembered as peaceful, consistent with the discipline that had shaped her entire course. After her repose, devotion to her memory did not fade. Accounts of healings and intercessions began to circulate among the faithful of Constantinople, linking her monastery with continued signs of consolation and protection. One account speaks of a severe fire that threatened the city. Through her intercession, the flames were said to have subsided, strengthening confidence in her prayers, even beyond her earthly life. The monastery endured as a place of prayer and refuge, carrying forward the pattern she had established. The once deserted ground became permanently associated with ordered worship and disciplined communal life. Domnica's journey had begun in Carthage with a personal conversion and led her across seas into the center of imperial Christianity. Her legacy was not built upon political position, but upon sustained fidelity within monastic vocation. Remembered as righteous and steadfast, she stands among those women whose ascetic witness helped shape the spiritual fabric of Constantinople. Her life demonstrates how deliberate renunciation, when joined to obedience, can transform both place and community. The life of Saint Domnica reveals how personal conviction can reshape an entire landscape. From Carthage to Constantinople, her path unfolded through renunciation, obedience, and disciplined prayer. A deserted place became a monastery, and a quiet ascetic life became a source of guidance for an imperial city. If stories like this deepen your understanding of how steadfast faith can transform both people and places, you are warmly invited to subscribe to the channel. By doing so, you help preserve the memory of those whose hidden endurance strengthened the Church across centuries.